going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and we are just a little over 12 hours away from the start of the Black Ops Cold War multiplayer beta. I will be live here on the channel tomorrow morning doing an open lobby to team up with as many of you guys as possible so we can go ahead and clap some cheeks over on multiplayer. If you haven't already, be sure to drop your PSN down below in the comments. But to really reward my notification squad here on the channel, as I'm calling the Demolition Squad, I'm going to put on screen the last beta code that I have left, so it's a first come first serve opportunity. I really wish I had more codes, but I think the fact that they restricted it this year to where you can only get a code if you digitally pre-order the game has prevented companies from buying a bundle of codes as they usually do every year, because every year I'm usually able to team up with somebody to give away dozens and dozens of codes. That just wasn't possible this year, unfortunately. But hopefully if you didn't download the beta, you went ahead and snagged that beta code. But if you didn't, don't forget the beta becomes open this Saturday, which means you do not need a code whatsoever to join in on the beta. But in tonight's video, we have quite a bit to break down. Treyarch ended up dropping a lot of new information as well as surprises that will be incorporated into the beta as soon as tomorrow. But before I jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because about 80% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you guys are getting notifications every time I update you on Black Ops Cold War. But first and foremost, in case you guys haven't seen this image yet, it is in fact confirmed that Woods will be a playable operator in Black Ops Cold War multiplayer, and that was inevitable considering he is an operator right now inside of Warzone. And if I had to guess, I would say a lot of the iconic Black Ops characters will eventually be added into multiplayer. But within the multiplayer alpha a couple of weeks ago, we had a bunch of default and basic operators that weren't too memorable, but I'm sure Treyarch is going to add the spice here within the beta. Also an FYI, if you just have Warzone downloaded, Black Ops Cold War's beta now pops up at the main menu, as you guys could also see in the thumbnail. It looks fantastic. But here are some big changes and updates that Treyarch also confirmed earlier on Twitter. They ended up dropping a lot of patch notes for this beta already, and there is quite a bit to get through. But some of the main things include an FOV slider. Now, an FOV slider is something that I've seen a lot of people requesting over the past couple of weeks, and finally Treyarch has listened. And here's the thing, frame rate may be an issue with this, but don't forget this is going to be a beta, so if you have frame rate issues with the FOV slider, just be patient so they could polish it enough for launch. But I mean, Apex has an FOV slider on console, so it was really only a matter of time before Call of Duty finally did it. But the FOV slider will be available on all platforms, just to make that clear, and I'm sure it'll be a little more stable when it comes to the feature itself on next-gen consoles. But cannot wait to try that out. Now, there also is a HUD toggle option, meaning you can actually get rid of the health bar and some of the other details on your HUD to make it the cleanest experience you possibly can. It's going to make it great for thumbnails as well. There is also a new ping system being introduced into multiplayer, which kind of reminds me of the ping system we already have in Warzone, and even one that we kind of had back in Blackout. So this is going to be really interesting. I mean, a ping system in multiplayer might be more useful for the objective modes, but it's still a nice touch on the multiplayer experience to innovate it in ways that we just haven't seen before. They also confirmed that the kill confirmed score limit will now be 65, because based on their data from the alpha, there were too many matches that were reaching the actual time limit. So they want to make sure the gameplay is a little more fast-paced, which I think is fine considering TDM still has a higher score limit. And there also is now going to be a soft freeze when you spawn in, because we all remember from the alpha we were able to actually move around fully even when the timer was still counting down at the beginning of the match. So that has now been fixed to where it's just like Modern Warfare, in which you can move your weapon or inspect it while you're on that countdown, but you can't actually move your character while the countdown's going on, just to make sure that everything is fair for the objective gameplay. But they then confirmed that Cartel is one of the new maps set in Nicaragua. Now, what's cool about that is that Nicaragua was seen in Black Ops 2 via the campaign, as well as Black Ops Declassified, but we haven't actually seen it in a multiplayer map from what I understand. And this new map has both a 6v6 and 12v12 variant of the actual map. So I think that's good for all types of players that want to try out different modes. And just like with the other two big maps that we saw in the alpha, they were known as Crossroads and Armada, there will also be a 6v6 version of both of those maps added in throughout the beta, which I think is good, because if you didn't like that mode during the actual alpha, it was like, alright, well, you're just not going to play those maps then. But considering that they're going to make 6v6 variants, that is great for people out there who may have liked the map, but maybe just didn't like the actual combined arms domination mode. Now, they then confirmed that Fireteam Dirty Bomb is a mode that we will see during the beta, but not until weekend 2. And don't forget, weekend 2 is when crossplay will be enabled for Black Ops Cold War multiplayer, so you'll be able to play with anybody you want on any platform, which is really exciting, and new details were shared about the mode. So, as they officially said, Fireteam Dirty Bomb cranks the action up to 11 with multi-squad insanity. A total of 40 players broken out into 10 teams will compete to take out enemies, collect uranium caches, locate dirty bombs scattered throughout the map, and successfully deposit their uranium into said bombs to detonate them and get the win. We got a brief look at this game mode during the actual multiplayer reveal stream a couple of weeks ago, and they also said there's more complexions to the mode that we actually didn't know before. So detonating a bomb on this mode causes radiation leaks to then affect the overall map, turning areas into hazards for all players. This affects perks, movements, health, and more as the game progresses. So this is going to be a really interactive mode that is really unique compared to anything we've seen before, especially in Treyarch multiplayer. So I cannot wait to get my hands on this, but we have to wait until weekend 2, which is fine. This weekend we can focus on everything else, and then during weekend 2 we can really dive deep into this mode for a majority of the time we have to play. And they also said that the mode features a spawn system that is specifically in just this game mode. You can redeploy with parachutes, or you can spawn onto a teammate or into the passenger seat of a vehicle. So that's great. Again, just like with some of the other modes we're going to see in multiplayer, there's going to be very distinctive features that we only see in those specific modes, which I think is very awesome and reminds me of War back from Call of Duty World War II. And speaking of that mode, they confirmed a variant of Combined Arms Domination that is now known as Combined Arms Assault. And the description for it is: the match gets rolling with 2 teams of 12 spreading out across the map to fight for control of a central neutral capture zone. Once that objective is captured, the next one opens up deeper into enemy territory. The first team to successfully infiltrate and capture the enemy's final zone comes out on top. And that directly reminds me of War, again, from World War II, which operated just like that. You couldn't access certain areas of the map until that objective was complete. And then there were about, I think, 3 objectives total in that mode. It was a ton of fun playing that. That was probably my favorite mode back in Call of Duty World War II, so I'm glad that they're kind of adopting that in a similar way. And it makes sense considering Sledgehammer did have a little bit of time to help with Black Ops Cold War before moving on to their next project. Now, I will leave a link to these patch notes down below in the description because it is quite a lot. And if I read through all of this, it would literally be a 20-minute video, but I still want to read through some of the major changes as fast as I possibly can. So when it comes to these patch notes, it was confirmed that there will be an update to the sliding. They're going to reduce the speed of the sliding, to be exact. There's also some enhancements to the core movement and locomotion animations with jogging and sprinting. There's some major changes coming to the gunsmith, such as a more detailed breakdown of statistics for each attachment, which I think is awesome because it helps out people like Exclusive Ace or Drifter who constantly do those in-depth videos for all the weapons in a multiplayer experience. Updates the recoil and firing animation, the aim down sight, some more weapon tuning all across the board, some actual aim assist with sniper rifles, and they did confirm earlier that they've had aim assist for snipers since Black Ops 2, so the alpha was the first time that Treyarch didn't have aim assist, and now they're adding that back in, which to me is fine. I think snipers are really going to dig this game. There's also an update to a lot of the visuals, graphics, lighting, visibility. The audio has been improved, extensively when it comes to the weapon audio specifically, master EQ, compression output, a lot of details with footsteps, hit marker audio, and even score streak audio has also been balanced with that as well. Now, there's also bullet crack, so they tweaked the bullet crack system to prevent players from hearing sounds when they shouldn't, and vice versa. Now, they also confirmed for the first time in a Black Ops game, spy plane pings are directional and locational based on where an enemy is and when they are swept by the radar, allowing for pinpoint accuracy. As this is a new mechanic, we will continue to monitor and adjust as necessary. So this is kind of the opposite of what Modern Warfare did with their UAV system. So I think this is going to work out just fine. I'm really excited to see the return of the Blackbird/Advanced UAV, and this new feature really ensures that we'll be able to see that in such a great way throughout this multiplayer. They also said objective score rewards have been increased in Domination, Kill Confirm, Hardpoint. The spawns across a lot of the maps have also been fixed. I know Miami had some pretty bad spawns during the alpha, but again, it was an alpha, so we can't complain too much about what they were doing spawn-wise. They They fixed spawns in Moscow, Armada, Crossroads, Satellite. They fixed vehicle damage tuning with the tanks. They fixed some of the character models, you know, how some of the other models look for the RCXD, the motion blur. There's quite a bit of information here, which I think is great for everybody all around. And lastly, they did confirm that they'll be introducing a deep progression system synchronized across multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone that deserves its own time in the spotlight when it comes to them explaining it. And they'll have more details about this as we get closer to launch. We won't see this feature in the beta, but you'll still be able to rank up to certain levels to unlock additional content throughout both beta weekends. This is really exciting. Again, leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about all of these patch notes if you've read them in full? And there's still quite a bit left to talk about even before the game comes out. They're going to have another blog post talking just about the progression system. I'm sure they'll announce a second Zombies map on disc. We may even get a Dead Ops Arcade 3 trailer. And on top of that too, we know Prestige mode kind of leaked throughout the multiplayer alpha, so I'm sure they'll be explaining that in the future as well. But that is about it. This has been DK Dynamite. If you haven't already, be sure to drop a comment with your PSN and let me know if you want to join up for the open lobby stream when I start that up tomorrow. I'll be covering any Easter eggs that are added throughout the beta, as well as the new game modes, maps, possibly some new weapons, and any other surprises that Treyarch has in store for us. But that is about it, and peace out, everyone.